Hello and welcome to Blue Mondays, everybody. My name is Ho Emaha. Today we have with us special guest Austin James Reece. I hope that went live when we hit the button. It usually does. Gosh dang it. Modern technology, it's always a few minutes behind, one day at a time. Sitting around the my ironing board table here, it's also a stool that some people have sat on and whatnot, drinking some Maker's Mark 101. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
And today we're gonna sit around and talk music, play a little music. This guy's a great finger picker. I love the way he plays. He's got a good voice on him too. Have him sing some songs and
Yeah, I
dance.
think you're a good guitar player too. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah, the first time I saw him play was at the Blues Hall of Fame in Renniesville, and it was pretty cool. I was playing with Selby and who was the drummer? The guy.
Did he have long white hair?
No, he was an older guy with glasses. He runs sound at the Cimarron.
Oh yeah. Oh, Harry Williams.
Harry Williams.
He's a
was there.
phenomenal drummer.
And that was a cool thing.
Yeah, he played the drums for Tina Turner.
Yeah. Pretty cool. I think Jeff, and I think I went out there with Jeff Porter and Brett Bogle. Those cats.
Okay, yeah.
They
Oh,
like
Quad
them.
Leroy and the Pickled Ochre Playboys.
Yep.
That's a great band. That's one of my favorite bands around that area. They're a bunch of nice guys. They're
Yeah.
just friendly, just down to earth, and great freaking musicians.
Yeah. I think Jeff was probably one of the first guys I've ever played with in Oklahoma. He kind of just hit me up on Facebook one day and said, "You want to come over and jam?" And I went over there and, didn't even want to play, after he started playing. I was like, I can't play with this guy.
Man, I've had a lot of similar instances with
Guys I've ever played with in Oklahoma. He kind of
Hey, Steve Schrum is watching. Do you know those guys, Last Call Band? You follow?
No, not yet, but I'll definitely check him out.
Man, they do some great music up there. They're a blues band out of the Eufaula area, and their guitar player is a first class chef too, man. Oh man, he makes some good food.
Yeah, it's always a plus. Making food at practice.
Oh yeah.
Have you been in a band with him before? Or?
No. I met all these guys through the Renniesville Blues Club. Just hanging out there. Bronco told me about that place, and he's a fantastic drummer. And oh my God, just super bass player. That man needs a cape. He's phenomenal. But
I think some of my favorite bands in there are the Fauntleroys and the Vox Squadron. Kind of those cats. They really put it down.
Yeah.
And they play a lot of blues and a lot of old school and rock and roll. And
I like the old school rock and roll bands. Cover bands to me just sometimes don't get enough credit. I think you put a lot of hard work into learning those songs. I mean, you have to learn that song just as much as the people who wrote it.
Oh, it takes a lot of musical skill to do that, for sure.
To do it well, absolutely. That's people just don't give enough credit for. But I like cover bands if they're a great cover band.
And I've been in a bar band and we've played 3 and 4 hour gigs, hundreds of them over the past couple of years. And we never play it note for note. We just kind of have our own interpretation of it, and people usually end up liking it, which is cool.
Yeah. When I was in a classic rock band in Denver, Jay and Company was our name. Jay was our drummer. We were a power trio for a long time.
Oh, I love a good power trio.
And we do "I'm Your Captain" by Grand Funk, and God, we'd be playing that note for note, because our guitar player Mike Cyrilnik, he wanted everything. He's a perfectionist. He wants it. We're gonna play it like they did at Isle of Wight in 1973.
Yeah, a 3-piece is a good place to start out with if you're gonna try to tell everybody exactly what to play. It's hard to orchestrate all that if you don't have it scored out, and then find the musicians that want to read it.
That's the band I was learning how to play bass in. So I guess it was a really good thing for me because I learned more by playing bass than I did on the guitar. It's like when I went back to guitar, it made 10 times more sense than it did before I started playing bass.
I kind of felt like that for a second. I played bass with Colton Crow and the Murder for a minute, and felt like I figured out how to make people move, and kind of felt like I was figuring it out. And then, but I think again, I don't think it's anything like guitar. I think it's its own little
Oh yeah.
thing.
It's
And
all
a
done.
guitar, a bass player may be able to play guitar, but not all guitar players can play bass.
Yeah, it's
Or
a-
maybe true the same way around. But it's two different things.
Right. Well, as a guitar player, as a guitar player, I didn't because I didn't know much at that time. I just played the backing tracks or making my own loops
Mhm.
and stuff. I knew a few chords. I didn't know why I knew the patterns and stuff. It just sounded good. It was many years later that I learned all that. So but a lot of that was through playing bass
Yeah.
and looking at it at first as a guitar player. Oh, it's got
Mhm.
strings, so it's
Yeah.
and it was not that
Yeah.
by any means. Uh, it taught me more rhythmic, and it taught me groove,
Mhm.
and it made me
Definitely
learn the
groove.
fretboard a whole
Yeah.
lot more.
I felt like I can groove a lot better after playing bass for a while, for sure, and I think that was the most important part of playing bass. And I'm kind of like, I like it when I like when basses go crazy, but I think a good bass player usually just holding down the groove and making you dance.
Oh yeah.
You can't always dance to riffs and crazy runs, but just as
Right.
long as they can make the feet move, I think that's the bass's job. And I learned a lot about that playing bass. It was fun.
Right.
I remember when we were in the rabbit hole once in Tulsa, and there was a moment, and I figured it out. I mean, we had just gotten back from our second and last break, and we only had like 30 more minutes to go. And I guess we had smoked. I don't know what happened. There was a magical moment, and there was a trumpet player that came in there too. Maybe that helped out. But there was a moment when I could feel like when I was grooving so hard, and everyone just started turning their heads and just kind of like moving their butts.
Right.
And before you know it,
Feeling
everybody
it.
was out there feeling it and dancing. And it was good.
Yep. I tell you, bass. That's what makes people dance. That's what makes people move.
Yeah.
The groove.
Yeah.
Being able to have that groove in there and making them dance to it. The drummer has a lot to do with that too. And
Oh, for sure.
it's drum and bass. Like
Drum and bass.
like Selby says.
Yeah.
She always says the vocals and the guitar. That's just the icing on the cake.
Just the icing, yeah.
Yeah.
Drum and bass, yeah. Have you ever? Are you into Belfleck at all, or?
Little bit. I
Yeah.
saw them with not in person. I watched a thing. It was with Billy Guitar Strings or Billy Strings
Yeah.
and Billy Strings and Bella Fleck. One of my neighbors in Colorado went to go see all that at Red Rocks. I saw it on YouTube a year later, but
He has this really awesome documentary. I think it's called Back to the Heart or something. Where he travels to Africa and he goes to different tribes, and they have their own different instruments because they all carve them themselves, and they all kind of have their different semitones and pitches that are different, right? And then he goes around and just kind of like delves into the culture or the history of rhythm and stuff, and goes to these 3 or 4 different tribes and plays with them and tunes his banjo to their instruments.
wow.
And so it's all about rhythm and percussiveness, and the notes can help that. And same idea with the bass. Like there's this beautiful dance that goes on between rhythm and sound, right?
Right.
And when the bass and drums are playing together, you get that kind of magic going
It's a
on.
movement.
It's
you
a
know,
mo- it's magic. It's
vibration.
magic.
Yeah,
It's magic. Sometimes it's just perfect.
Now, have you seen where they take like sand or salt and put on a sheet of metal and hit it with a bow, and it vibrates? You can see the sound waves
Yeah.
depending on what frequency it is.
Yeah.
Everything's a different shape,
Yeah.
and when you look at that sound that's
Mhm.
being projected and it's vibrating molecules in our
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
on
Have you
such
heard
a-
about the conspiracy about the tuning and how we tune to The
So
440.
we tuned to
440.
and you used
Apparently, it makes you. It does. It's not calming. I guess is like another as if you were to tune. I think it's 432 or something like that.
oh wow.
If you make your E string at 432 hertz, like and if you have a chromatic tuner, you can do that.
Right.
And so if you wind up doing that, you end up feeling like it's basically, I think, almost a half step or a whole step down. So it'd be like playing your guitar like a whole step down, basically.
Oh wow. So playing in D.
Like, but slightly, because
Right.
there's slightly different semitones apart, right? And if you had a sitar, you could demonstrate that with
Right.
or a rolling capo with a fretless instrument. You could see how, the semitones exist, right?
Right.
But so anyway, it's really cool.
I played a sitar in Lubbock, Texas, of all places. One of my friends, Navneet Kandaval, he's a
Oh yeah, we're
great
talking
drummer.
about that. Sorry.
Oh,
Got
no
off track.
worries. And he brought his sitar over to the jam room one day, and that's a really fascinating
It
instrument.
is fascinating, and a lot of our pentatonic scales, you can find them that exist naturally in other cultures' music and stuff.
Right.
And it's these semitones and the space between really those semitones, and we think of this 12-tone scale as like our world, right? When really it's everything in
lot more.
between too.
I,
It's just what our ears are used to listening to. So it's just like, if you're used to listening to something, it's easier to play it,
Right. That's like Street Corner Girl by Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the name of the song. God dang it. Having a brain fart. But that was tuned down a whole step and then up a quarter step. So it
Interesting.
was done on, they were all tuned to that.
Interesting.
It took some finagling to find that out,
Mm-hmm. Here's another cool thing about tuning. Back in the day, they would have old pianos in wherever they were recording, and there were studios starting to pop up all over America and the world, and they'd have these pianos in there, and sometimes you can't sit there and tune the piano, and they're doing coming in there doing 5 or 6 recordings a day,
Right.
and so there's just like they make everybody tune to the piano. And so a lot of times when you try to play to especially like old jazz tunes and stuff, you try to play along with it. Sometimes it's cringe, it makes you cringe a little because you're like, why can't I play with this? Why doesn't this sound right? And they're tuning a little bit different, and
Right.
and sometimes the sample rate doesn't even come over when they transition from a LP or a vinyl to a digital
Right.
platform.
Yeah, you lose a lot of information with that. It's why I understand why people are really into vinyl.
Yeah.
It just made sense one day. I got a friend in Colorado, John Reinheimer, fantastic guy, great guitar player. He plays like Greg Allman.
Oh, Greg Owens one of my
He's
favorites.
just gnarly, and I go, and he's got this huge, it'd fill this room all the way up, almost with vinyl records, and he got these $400 hand carved wood headphones,
Nice.
it's like a Klipsch stereo system surrounding you,
Wow.
and he's always one of those guys. Dude, you gotta try this, and I put him on, and it was just amazing. It was like the best headphones I've ever put over my
Yeah.
ears. Noise
Highest
canceling,
quality.
everything.
Yeah.
The highest quality, and with a vinyl record,
Yeah.
you could hear fucking everything.
Yeah. My mom used to tell. She told me a story once how she would have to do chores, and I guess back in the day you would have a pair of headphones and an aux cable that was like 30 foot long, and she would be going around the house, and she said she would. Sorry, Mom, but she said she would smoke a little bit and then start cleaning, and then listen to The Great White Buffalo by Ted Nugent,
Yeah.
and have like a 30-foot, headphone cable going around the house, which was pretty cool. That was a
I
good
love
story.
Nuge.
Yeah. He's a good, he's a crazy interesting guy. When he went on the Joe Rogan podcast, he kind of learned a lot. That was when I kind of learned about him. He's out there. I don't know if I'd like to hang out with him, but he's a good guitar player.
Oh yeah, great guitar player. I'm 47 years old, so like the damn Yankees. It was a big band when I was in my teen years, you know, and I listened to the Nuge a little bit throughout there, just what they played on the radio, but I never sat down and just wanted to listen to them play.
Yeah.
And then after many years down the road, say in my 30s, I started like, oh, this guy's phenomenal.
He is. Yeah, I think he, recently put out some music. He does cool stuff, you know.
He's got it's a unique sound. It's that Midwestern rock sound, you know.
Yeah, honestly, I can't stand it really, or Bruce Springsteen. I mean, there's some of that era I couldn't really take, you know.
I liked one Bruce Springsteen song. It was off the with the American flag and the oil rag hanging out of his back pocket. My hometown. You know, I heard that song on vinyl when I was a kid, and it just.
I heard a cool story too the other day. The guy that plays he's in The Sopranos. He was the Steve something. He the guitar player of Bob Seger.
Oh wow.
Was the right hand man, the guy who owned the strip club in The Sopranos, Silvio.
Oh shit.
Yeah, did you know that?
Yeah.
It is the craziest thing. I was watching the news the other day. He had like a 60 Minutes. Shout out to my age. I like the 60 Minutes sometimes. But you learn some cool stuff on there, and he plays Silvio on Sopranos, and he still plays with Bob Seger to this day. There was an album, which is funny. It might be that home album you're talking about where he didn't play guitar on. There was like only one album he was not on, and it consequently was Bob Seger's highest selling album as well, which is a funny thing. But still, he's a great guitar player and apparently an actor, and I love that guy. I love The Sopranos. Cheers to The Sopranos. Steve Gadden, Steve something. I wish I could remember his name. He's a great actor, great guitar player.
I listened to, was it Nate Diaz? Not Nate Diaz. Who's the big Italian guy that's always on the Joe Rogan show? Is it?
A big Italian guy. Joey Diaz.
Yeah, Joey Diaz.
Yeah, I love Joey Diaz. Yeah, so funny.
Now he was on The Sopranos too.
He was on The Sopranos too. He was in that world. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I couldn't imagine.
I know, what a crazy life. He's like, I'm not busy enough. I'm just gonna go be an actor.
That's crazy.
And I think, yeah.
He's a good actor though.
So who's your favorite guitar player?
David Gilmour.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd. You know, I that hit it for me. We're gonna smoke some garbage here because it's 4:19 somewhere. Anyhow, hey, thanks to all the watching. Hey, Neva, Aaron.
Thanks everybody for
Tommy,
tuning in.
How y'all doing? I think David Gilmour is one of my favorite guitar players. I like Pink Floyd. The Wall was a great album. Dark Side was a fantastic album. But when Mason and Wright and him were together, and they did, and even Roger Waters, you know, back in the early days when they did albums like Obscured by Clouds or Jesus, I only took one hit and I already dropped it.
Pretty fast.
But yeah, I think I watched Live at Pompeii the other day again.
Oh God, I love that recording, dude. That is so good. You know, I've played that thing so many times on my YouTube. It fucked my algorithm up hard. It was Pink Floyd for a long time. It was a great, honestly, one of the sickest concerts of all time. And I mean, sometimes when I'm just, out walking in the woods, it haunts me. Boom, 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 boom. Dude, man, how the bass and drums sound in that place. God.
Now the album that turned me on to Pink Floyd was Momentary Lapse of Reason. I was 13 years old, and I was visiting I got hillbilly family up in Indiana, and my cousin Jason my cousin Frankie, they were potheads, they were brothers. They were potheads back in that day. They were 16 and I was 13. We smoked pot together. It was great. Anyway, they wanted to send me off to do something, so I wouldn't bother them anymore. So I had momentary lapse of reason, and I had one of the old CD players, the mobile with some shitty headphones that they came with.
Man, oh, dude, all I used to love back in the day is getting a new Walkman or a new CD player.
I listened to that album, and it hit me. It was like listening to a story being told with a guitar. Man, he can bend a note and just rip your soul.
I think one of the first live albums that I really got into was it was a Bonnaroo album, and my dad was a chauffeur, and he would sometimes people would leave stuff in the car and they'd never come pick it up. They'd fly out of town, and he brought a stack of CDs home one day, and it kind of opened my world because up until that time I'd listened to a lot of like stuff on the radio that was just on the radio, and I wasn't really big into music, and that kind of opened my world. And there was a song called Dragonfly. It was mainly had a slide guitar in there. It was kind of like the lead instrument, and it just ripped so hard, and it was like Allman Brothers, but no singing at all, and just slide guitar, all slide guitar. You have to. I can't even remember. It was a compilation, so I can't remember the band that played it. But then after that, I listened to like Jackie Green and Grateful Dead, and Incubus, and the band. And then I think as I grew older, my dad would start letting me listen to his music. Because his music was a little bit more, for old people.
I was
Pink
raised
Floyd.
on classic rock and roll, and I guess modern rock for the time is classic rock and roll now. Like the Cars and Talking Heads and stuff. 80s, a lot of 80s stuff. I was born in '76, but my parents listened to a lot of classic rock as well. Now they listen to they're like me. They listen to a lot of shit, and but I grew up listening to that because that's what all the bikers and hippies listen to.
I think the oldest memory, I've smoked so much weed, I probably fucked up my brain, and as far as like, but certain things will bring things back, But
Right.
One of the oldest songs I can remember to listen in the car was "Bully Bully," and my grandma, she was a mail lady, and she would take me out on her mail routes, and I'd be in the back seat giving her mail. And we'd just be listening to the bully, 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 bully. I can't remember any of the other words, but it was just this kind of like hillbilly country, or hill. What do they call that? Rockabilly kind of.
Rockabilly, yeah.
And as the bully, bully song, I used to love that.
Rockabilly
was a thing.
That was a great time for music. I think it was like blues, country, and punk. There was a lot of punk influence came
The
from
angst
rockabilly.
that came in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The white t-shirts rolled up with a pack of Lucky Strikes in there, greased back fucking hair, enough grease.
Yeah, it took the heartbreak of country and said, "Hey, this is enough. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Let's have fun."
I liked a lot of the rockabilly. Reverend Horton Heat really got my foot in the door for learning what. Well, I take that back. Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly and I share a hometown. He was in that rockabilly, more pop rock, but he was in that rockabilly scene too. And but as an adult in my late 20s, early 30s, I heard the Reverend Horton Heat, and I was just like, oh. Yeah. And that opened my world up to all different kinds of rockabilly artists, the Red Elvises, people like that, and it's good stuff. It's good fun, country punk. I would like to hear you play and sing that song again.
Yeah, I'll play you.
What
one.
is that? You got a name for that?
Like, I grew up in Carolina, and I played a lot of stuff like Avid Brothers. It's probably like Avid Brothers and Charlie Starr is a big influence, I would say, on my writing.
Love Charlie Starr, man.
And so
Blackberry smoke is
it's
one
kind of
of
like my alley, right? I think that I found in, I felt like my voice sounds best in A and D,
fair enough.
Yeah. And this song is called, I think it's just called Tired.
Tired.
I have a bad thing about just naming songs something and something and something and something. Yeah. So, but it's just called Tired. Do you want to play with me on it? Or?
I'd love to, man.
Yeah. Let's tune up here. Sorry, guys. We're going to tune real quick.
This is our favorite song. It's called Tuning. Hey, Jessica, how you doing? Thanks for watching, y'all. We really appreciate you. Like and share.
So this is kind of like, starts off kind of like a little kind of country, bluegrassy. So.
Okay.
Broken and tired of living on your shell, objectified and hidden from the world, 'cause you can't stand to see me with anybody else. This ain't the kind of love I'm used to. Remember when we used to laugh so hard? Now you're tearing down the whole house, setting fire to our car. You just sit there crying, claim you ain't done nothing wrong. But how did it feel when you were with him? Did you take that ring off? And here's to the good times. I know they're few and far between. Couldn't give you what you wanted, but you found what you need. It wasn't me. Was a bird in your cage. Thought you'd done clipped my wing, but open the gate and I start flying like I never missed a thing. And I ain't happy that it's over, and I ain't sad about it neither. Yeah, people change, grow their separate ways. It's just a fact of life we face together. So, that's what. Yeah, I thought that sounded really nice.
Oh, that's pretty, man. It's
Yeah, it's a little song I've been working on, and we all, a lot of songs I write about are about love because, I really didn't get into songwriting until the past 3 years, and that was when I had stuff to write about. It's because everything was going wrong in life. And some songs will just jump out at you, and that was a song I just wrote, and it just seemed to come out, and I just a good one.
I don't consider myself a songwriter because, I mean, I do in a little bit of a way. I'll come in here if I'm having a bad day and nobody's around.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go nuts into the microphone, or if I'm singing karaoke, I don't mind singing in front of people. But
The biggest thing for me is the question, what is it all for, right? And that seeps into every point of my day, but especially when I try to write something or create something, it's like, who gives a shit, but you gotta, what the cool thing is that there's so many people out there that, you can say something in your own way, and one group of people might not like it or understand it or hear it or vibe with it, but some other group of people, it might be right up their alley, and they might be like, they might really like it,
Right.
So
absolutely.
if you keep that in mind, you keep that. Oh, there's art for everyone, right?
Right.
So you're making a piece of it, and you don't know who's gonna like it.
Right.
You gotta separate yourself from that idea.
That's why I talk to anybody about music, because you never know who you're gonna meet.
Yeah, you really don't. And especially in Tahlequah, man, we have. And where I grew up in South Carolina, I would never dream of meeting somebody I heard on the radio, And it seems like in Oklahoma, I've met so many people that are on the radio. It's insane. And it blows my mind, and I'm feeling kind of blessed for that, for sure. The talent here.
I feel the same way. As coming here from, I'm a Texan first because damn it, I'm Texan. I was born there, but I moved here from Colorado, and I'd been in bands in Texas, and I've been in bands in Colorado, and two different parts of Texas, Houston area, and the Lubbock area. I was in a couple of bands there, and a couple of bands in Denver, and when I moved to Oklahoma and met Selby and went up to the Down Home Blues Club, the Oklahoma Blues Hall of Fame, come down live jam every Sunday, starts at 5 o'clock. It's a kick in the pants. A lot of great musicians. You never know who's going to walk.
Do they still do that there?
They do that every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
I want to go down there. I haven't been down there, man. I want to be down there and get better, immerse myself for that. I need to get down there before it's too late.
Yeah, it's all year round. I didn't go yesterday, and I feel
cheers
like
to Selby for that.
Yeah, thank you, Selby.
Thank you, Selby, for that.
She's one of the reasons I did this podcast as well in that place.
Mm-hmm.
I've played out more in Oklahoma. I've been in two bands here in Oklahoma. I was in we did stuff like Trampled by Turtles.
Oh yeah, I love Trampled. I've seen Trampled by Turtles at the Canes. It was a good show.
What is it, Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zero? I love those guys, man. It hits a spot for me, man. It makes me vibrate in a weird way.
Yeah. But it's cool to see a big band like that. I love big bands.
Oh yeah.
Have all the stuff, everything you want, all the sounds.
What's his name? And Lyle Lovett. He's got a big freaking band. We were a three-piece though, so we didn't have that big band sound, but we did a lot of songs in that style, And it was fun. It was fun while it lasted. And then I didn't play music for about a year with anybody. Still living in Oklahoma. Contemplating if I wanted to go back to Colorado.
Yeah.
And then I started going back to the Blues Club.
Oklahoma's a bunch of rejects. Yeah. We are.
Right.
We're all rejects.
It gets so beautiful here, and I went back to the Blues Club and started hanging out with those people, and I told Selby, hey, I'd like to play bass.
Yeah, dude, music is
somewhere.
the only connection that keeps me sane here for sure. You
Yeah.
know, I love to meet
There's
all the
such
new
a
people.
big music community in Oklahoma.
I love it. Yeah.
I've played out more in Oklahoma than I have anywhere else.
Well, I was still growing up and I was still in that phase, but it seems so what is the word? Competitive, yeah. Competitive where I was growing up, and
Right.
there's so many people. It's just there's no way you're gonna play anywhere.
So
I can call up 5 bars right now, and hey, can I get a gig? And
yeah.
4 out of 5 of those bars are gonna say, yeah, we'll jot you down. That it seems like where I come from, it's just too polluted with the jukebox and karaoke and everything else.
Yeah.
Live bands here are definitely, and that's what Oklahoma's special for, is because the live band, and as much as all the musicians, and I am one of them that go around and play everywhere, that complain about the money, Oklahoma is the only place, man. I've lived lots of places, guys, and I want you to hear me right now. If you get $100 to play, fucking put it in your pocket and be happy, because
Yeah.
I swear you're not getting it. And these opening acts, I've talked to lots of guys who are opening acts regionally right now, and they pay out of pocket for their hotel room, for their travel.
Oh yeah.
You're not making money in there until you're really just, there's some levels in the industry, I think, that people don't understand, and a bar, and it has to be a symbiotic relationship, man. People have to market themselves. You
Right,
can't just say,
absolutely.
hey, people need to come to your bar, And I'm in a band, but it was never in my control to do that. But it takes someone in the band. If you want to be successful, someone in your band has to be marketing.
Oh, absolutely.
And shout out to Through It All. You probably don't know these kids, and it's not really my genre of music, but I love these guys and for what they're doing. Man, he knows how to market his band and
Right. Well, it's a lot about
get
marketing.
it out there.
I got a friend of mine down in Texas, Mr. Bill Gregory. We were neighbors when I was 16, and he's one of my influences in life, and also with doing this.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing all this stuff back in the '90s with recording and whatnot, and he kind of tells me what he can along the way. Great freaking singer and guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, the whiskey kicked in.
Yeah, usually.
Marketing.
Yeah.
So, and now that I'm doing the Bleu Mondays,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I'd like to have some T-shirts made and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a big marketing thing. I want to be able to.
Yeah, I can't really give a lot of lessons on it, but I
Yeah.
know that that's part of the situation there,
Yeah.
and
Font Leroy and the Pickle Ochre Playboys, man, they got them. I
Yeah.
got shirts by them, and we wear them everywhere.
Yeah. Yep, I love those guys, and I would say like the best way to get your band out there is to be promoting it yourself and getting people out into the bar or wherever venue it is to see you, and get creative about it for
Right,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I lucked out. I lucked out because I play guitar with Selby Minner,
Mm-hmm.
and I've played out in so many
Yeah.
crazy places.
We
playing-
played at least 100 gigs in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. But we're kind of in the band I was in, Colton Crow and the Murder, and we're still doing it. We're just kind of slowing down a bit. But we've played every freaking dive bar from here to the border of Texas. We didn't go into Texas much, but and we played in Missouri, and we played at Filthy McNasty's in the Stockyards.
Oh hell yeah!
So we played on the Broadway there, and that was and we packed, and it was easy, to. The cool thing was we had a good retention rate. I guess people were staying in there when we were in there, so that was
Right.
cool. And it's a long, hard road.
Yeah.
I'll say that it's a long, hard road for some people.
Selby knows. Now this gal at the Dusk Till Dawn Blues Festival. Did you go to that?
Yeah, actually, I got the very tail end of it, on the very last day, we were out there, and there was just a few people playing inside still, and it was a good experience.
Heck
Yeah.
There was this lady came up on stage to sing with us. I'm gonna have her name in a minute. It's I'll look it up.
Ellen
here.
DeGeneres.
Wasn't Ellen DeGeneres, but she throws these music festivals out in California.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
get all the information and post it later. But I've been
California.
trying to talk Selby, because Selby and DC played in a lot of places from here to California. You know, going through New Mexico, going
Yeah.
through Arizona.
No, I haven't done any of that yet. You know.
I've never done any of that either. I've never toured
Lucky.
with a band.
Yeah.
But it's something I've always wanted to experience once in my life. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, you know, this lady throws a festival out in San Francisco every year. It'd be cool for once in my life to hit up here, go to Denver, go to Flagstaff, you know, go to all these
Oh, there's
little
more places than that. I mean, you can go
play
to
your way
Amarillo.
across them.
You
Yeah.
can go. You know, we've played way out in Chickasha once. Was the farthest west we've ever played was Chickasha in an old bar called It was called the Orient Drugstore. It used to be a drugstore. It was so trippy, man. They had cough syrup and stuff from 1940 something in the glass case, and we're over there checking it out, and we talked the lady into letting us sniff it, just to get a whiff of it. We wanted to see what it was like. I think it was laudanum or something crazy.
Oh,
It was something crazy.
laudanum.
It was something wild. It was something you can't get today, and it's in this glass case, and it opened it up, and I can't remember what. So it just smelled like alcohol.
Isn't that a crazy opiate?
But it's
well,
great. Yeah,
laudanum?
they used to just feed this stuff to people, and their babies and everything, man. So you could just go get laudanum at the Orient Drugstore back in the day.
Wow.
It was wild. It's a cool experience, and a very old stage, and just an old building. It was cool.
You ever play a chicken wire bar?
No, I will tell you about the worst bar we've ever played in. And if I could remember it, I will name drop the shit out of it right now. It is right across the border in Caney, Kansas. It's right across the border from Oklahoma into Kansas. And it was a biker bar. And we got booked up there. And it was actually our first gig together. And somebody booked us there on somebody's birthday. And it was this biker's birthday for the Mongols. And all these Mongols were up there, right? And they were mostly cool for the whole time, but they didn't clap for one fucking song. We played 3.5 fucking hours. They didn't clap one song.
Oh.
During one of our breaks, we got this guy up to do a karaoke song. It was the Birthday Boy, and he got up there and he sang some fucking karaoke song. I can't remember what it was. And it wasn't bad. He was a good singer, and they all clapped, And about at that time, I lost my shit, and I just started getting pissed off. And thankfully, it was winding down. We were about done, so I just played as loud as I could for the rest of the set. And then I packed everything up angrily. I went to the bar, and I sat at the bar trying to get my card for like half an hour, it seemed. Everybody in my band had already left. It's just me and these Mongols. And I'm sitting there at the bar, and there's like a dyke behind the bar, that's what she was, man. Just straight up, just ass. She was a bitch. And I'm just trying to get my card, right, so I can leave. She wouldn't give me my card, and so finally I stand up on the little stool, and I'm like, hey, hey, can I cash out? I gotta go, And then everyone in the bar just kind of stops. You could hear a pin drop,
Oh, shit.
And all these bikers start slowly turning around, and then they start kind of grumbling to themselves. And thankfully, she just immediately gave me my card. I don't know if she even ran it, but I took my card and I got out of there and I hauled ass. Because these, they were probably like, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right.
And
Damn,
I got out of there quick. Worst gig of my life. I'll never go to that fucking place. If I remember the name of that bar, fuck that bar.
Man.
I hope you close down. You're a terrible spot.
Man, my worst gig doesn't have anything on that. I tried to start a band once, and I kind of knew how to play a little guitar, a few chords, and I was working with a keyboard player and a bass player, at that time, and one of their sisters was a drummer. It was an all-girl band except for me. I was the only guy in the band, and we had probably 15, 20 minutes of stuff down, and we ended up playing for an hour, and it was horrible. And the worst part of it was for a, I don't mean this as the worst part of it as this sucks, but no, it was for a benefit for the blind, and it was in the basement of a coffee house in Denver. That was underground, or I can't even remember the name of it. It was a neat place, but the whole basement was rented out this night for a benefit for the blind. And it was in a room probably as wide as this, but really long, probably 4 times this length.
Yeah.
And they had us here instead of at the end.
Yeah.
You know, they had us facing this wall in front of us, and it was dark. The sound guy was behind the PA, sitting over here with no headphones on, and apparently he was also deaf. Oh, it was horrible. Yeah.
You know, a sound guy can really make your night or ruin your night, you know. And I've had so many nights where I've walked away just crushed. Just crushed because we sounded like shit the whole night, and there's nothing you really can do about it because in front of.
Go on.
Yeah, it's been tough sometimes.
Yeah,
You just gotta carry on.
I've had that before, and not hear anything out of the monitors, or not even have monitors.
Yeah.
You know, which that's why you.
Or just the monitors just being obsessively loud, and no one knowing about stage volume. You know, you got getting your stage volume right, and a lot of times when we were starting out, that was probably our flaws. You know, but by the time we had our shit together, we started being like,
where your sound needs.
Yeah,
to be.
yeah, and you start getting a little bit critical.
Hey Alfred, hey Jessica, how y'all doing? Joy, thanks for watching. This Joy Walden on the page, she hosts a radio show out of Bisbee, Arizona, every Sunday.
Okay.
And it's bluegrass, it's gospel, it's like black gospel, and some rock and roll, and just a kind of a variety of stuff. Check it out. I'll send you the link to it. It's pretty cool.
You want to play another song?
I do. I'd love to.
Let's see. Kind of the same key almost, you know.
I gotta say it real quick. I really admire your finger, the way you play. I think a lot like I do with your hands.
If I make it till I'm 40, Lord knows I got somebody up there on my side, putting in overtime. I keep living for the moment, keep forgetting how time will take its toll on my body and my soul. I sit back, let the big wheels spin, throw your cares to the wind. You can always run it back again. I can't hear you anymore. Everybody's running toward the door. Need to slow it down, take my time. I've seen what's lying on the other side. Better men have gone before me, left their unwritten stories. start stacking up them reasons how you're gonna change, and everything stays the same. Sit back, let them big wheels spin, throw your cares to the wind, 'cause you can always run it back again. I can't hear you anymore. Everybody's running toward the door. I wanna slow it down, take my time. I see what's lying on the other side. And here's to you, all your plans. Maybe I hear God laughing while you write them in the sand. I hope you learn to live. I hope you find love and forgive those transgressors, all the hate that you built up. Oh, I swear it'll follow you to the grave. Ain't nobody putting overtime in on Judgment Day. Now if I make it till I'm 40, Lord knows I got somebody up there on my side putting in overtime.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's real pretty. I like that.
Yeah.
I come from a long line of Appalachian Americans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, up in Kentucky and Indiana.
That's where my great grandpa's from, is Kentucky.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
What part?
Pikesville.
Pikesville? I
Mhm.
have no idea where it is.
It's right across the border from Ohio, and that's kind of
Okay.
where they migrated into. But you know, I hear tales back in the day. You know, my dad was, or my great grandpa was. You know, he was running moonshine. You know,
Oh, yeah.
across the border. You know, so it was a good time. He had a good time. But I imagine that's where my love of bluegrass comes from. Is I
Right.
think probably you know they
Yeah.
came from Kentucky.
My family's from the Evansville and Henderson, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. I worked in
Kentucky,
Evansville once.
It's pretty up there. I've been there off and on since I was probably 7 years old, but probably once every 10 years get out there and see the family and whatnot. But gosh dang, it's beautiful out there.
It is a nice rolling hills, bunch of rolling
Yeah.
hills.
Oh, fishing on the Wabash River, man.
Yeah, I used to be a tower. I worked for Texoma Contracting in
Okay.
Muskogee, and we'd go around the country doing beef ups and put new steel on towers, and one of the towers I worked on just kind of was right at overlooked that river.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I worked at a fine arts foundry back in my 20s, and I've been a metallurgist most of my life, heat treater for the most part, but got into some like pouring metals and stuff like that. And I worked at a foundry in Lubbock, Texas, and we did a 16.5-foot tall soldier with a bronze statue holding a flag and standing with one arm looking out over the Ohio River along in that area. And that was built down in Lubbock, Texas. I poured all the bronze for that thing.
That's pretty cool. And it was like molded or something.
Yeah, we did lost wax process. So they'd make a mold of the piece, like they'd scale the piece up usually to how big the artist wanted it to, and they'd make rubber molds, or not rubber molds, wax molds, and then they'd put that in the
Sheet.
investing sand. It was like a sand porcelain
Mm.
sand, and they would put that into an oven. I'd put that into an oven, melt the wax out,
Mhm.
and then put it on a holder, and
Right.
we'd pick the wax up. We did the lost wax process, and me and one other guy, about my size, would pick up a 200-pound crucible with, there's probably 4 foot distance in between us. It's
Yeah.
2,600 degrees, and be pouring outside into these molds and in the metal shop and weld it all together, and then it'd come back to me and my buddy Sean Foxworth, and we would do the patina
Mhm.
on those. So we would spray it with chemicals we'd made, and rub it down, and make it change color and stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, over the Ohio River, in Kentucky, man, that thing's just
Yeah.
standing out over the water, checking
pretty
it
cool.
out. I've never seen it in person. I saw it leave on the truck, and I was like, bye.
That is cool. A piece of history.
Right.
So what else you got planned for this here today?
Let's see, what time is it getting to be? My
It says 8:26.
8:26. What do you want to do? You want to play another song there?
Yeah, I can do one. Another one. See which one I want to do. This is one I kind of did, and I have an alias, I guess. I'm not sure what it's, but you can find it on Spotify called Bullfighter,
Okay.
and that version of it has Conrad Cock on bass and Blaine Bailey playing steel.
I know Connor. I've met him a few times.
Connor's a
Kinda
cool
weird,
guy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a country song, and it's called Choctaw Queen of Cherokee County.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so and kind of starts off like this. She's my Choctaw Queen, Cherokee County, and she don't take no lip. Yeah, she's wild and graceful, always faithful, has a taste for whiskey and gin. She's my little hot rod, that red Trans Am likes to stay up late, never makes big plans, and that's alright. My baby loves to dance, and in the middle of a slow song, she calls my name. I can barely hear her, but I know what she's thinking. It's time to take it back to our place and put some Loretta on. Sing me a slow song, I love you all night long. She loves walking after midnight. She says it takes her back to a time when we were younger, full of hunger, making love, skipping class. Now 10 years have passed us by, and a lot has changed, but you still love to dance and still wear my ring. And in the middle of a slow song, she calls my name. Oh, I can barely hear her, but I know what she's thinking. It's time to take it back to our place and put some Loretta on. Sing me a slow song. I love you all night long. Sing me a slow song. Sing me a slow song. Give me some of that. Kind of ended that on there. But that was beautiful, man. I like that. I like that accompaniment. I like that.
That's pretty. I like that. I like that style. You know.
That's an old school style, yeah. You know, like I just summoned my oldness in that song.
Bluesy and cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Well, you know, I like Mike and the Moon Pies a lot too.
Mike and the Moon Pies.
God, I love that band. You never heard that band?
No. I'm gonna
Listen to the
Mike
band.
and the Moon Pies.
You know, they did this one album called Solid Country Gold, and that whole album, it's got a lot of covers in it, but it's so good. I love the way their rendition of the covers is so good.
Heck yeah. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Let's send me a link for that.
Yeah.
You said you have a link as well for your Spotify. Send that to us, man.
Yeah,
I'll share
I
this
will.
shit.
You know, I don't like to share it a lot because it's not really what I've envisioned as. It's not this final product, right? And I want to get a band together. So anybody out there, maybe I'm looking for a bass player, and I got a drummer, and you know, I do. You know, the electric stuff I do is completely different. It's like more rock and funk infused and blues, and so I'm just looking for a new band to get with, really to kind of put them all out there and produce them, you know, to their fullest
absolutely.
extent, you know.
Marketing and production, you know, get it out there. What did it take for you to get on Spotify?
Oh, nothing. No, Spotify's super easy. Anybody who wants to get on Spotify, you just get a what is that? I have an account. What is it?
PayPal?
No, it's not PayPal. It's God dang it, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Now I pay for Spotify. I pay them $10 a fucking month like an asshole.
No, you get it's a publishing service.
Okay.
That all the new musicians use, and I don't know why I can't remember it.
Remember it and send me the link. I'd love to figure that out.
But anyway, you get on the. It's easy. It takes 10 minutes. You log in and you pay for it. It's not free. You know, you got to pay for them to host it. You're paying for them to host it, and then you can tell them that what streaming platforms you want to put it on, and you pay a yearly fee. I think my yearly artist fee right now is $20 a year, and you have different levels of accounts that do different things, right?
Okay.
And they offer different products whenever you upload your song. So if your song isn't mastered, you can get it AI mastered for like $20, and it kind of just levels out everything to where it's not going to be too soft, where it's not going to be too loud, and it's not going to
EQ and compression.
Right. It basically does the mastering for you. Oh, God, I can't. I'm drawing a blank, but I'll friggin' remember it, and I'm drawing a lot of blanks tonight. But you know, every artist these days I think has that or another one, and it's BMI. You know, so BMI is like the old school version of what this is. This is like the new application, you know, the new age Gen Z version of BMI, right? So you can basically upload any song you want in minutes, all over the world, all over the world. But here's a key thing to anyone listening that does upload their song to Spotify or anything. There's these things called playlists, and there are curators for these playlists, and these curators are like magazine writers, and say like Rolling Stones might have a curator that curates a playlist for Spotify, and Spotify plays their playlist, right? And there's hundreds and maybe possibly thousands of these playlists, right? And they're all made by people.
Right.
The idea is to get your song to these curators of the playlist.
Okay.
And one easy one to do is Spotify has their new artist playlist, right? the catch with that is you cannot upload your song. You can't submit your song to the new artist playlist before you upload your song, or after you upload your song. You have to do it before. So and you have to, so before you upload, or before it's on any streaming platform, you have to submit it to them, and they will give you a chance to be on their new artist playlist if they, whoever curates that playlist. I'm not sure who does that. Someone at Spotify is digging deep for cool artists every day, to put them on the new artist playlist. And so before you submit your song to Spotify to stream, you can submit it to the curators of the playlist. And one easy way to do that, you can find that information on Spotify.com and search playlist in their search bar up there, and it'll take you to directions on the new artist playlist and how to submit. But and then you get your account on that distribution site, right?
Okay.
And I can't fucking remember it. It's got some kitschy little name because it's it's so easy. Anyone can do it. Anyone. It's so easy. The gatekeeper is gone, right? There used to be a gatekeeper, and there still is for honestly, there still is a gatekeeper out there for you could be a great band and play your whole life and have a solid band, right? And never go anywhere, right? Because you maybe didn't market right, you didn't find that right person. And what I've felt like I've found in the industry, no matter how good you are, you gotta know somebody. But the cool thing is, conversely to that, the cool thing is you can upload your music. Will anybody fucking listen to it? No. A lot of times, no, but you won't get any streams unless you get on this playlist. This playlist thing is a big thing.
Right.
You have to get on a playlist, especially as a new artist, because no one's going to come find you.
Right.
You have to have, and the cheapest way to do that, and the easiest, without any marketing, you submit it to playlist curators, and they will put it on their playlist. That's free. And it plays over and over. And if, for instance, if you hit Discover Weekly on your Spotify, it curates this group of artists that it thinks you'll like. And out of those artists, it's from the new artist playlist.
Okay.
And so a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. And
Sure.
then it plays over and over and over again. Like as soon as you log on and you click play, it starts back at the beginning and plays that playlist over again. And it goes to the end and it plays it over again. So you just get streams and streams and streams and streams. And then that algorithm kind of puts you into artists that are similar to you. And how do they know that? Because they scan it with their shit and they're saying, this song is 150 beats per minute in the key of E. It'll fit well with this song.
Right. I've seen that a lot too. Yeah. Because every now and then it'll pop up something really bizarre and obscure that just doesn't belong.
Yeah.
Or if I'll put in new music, it'll play. I can narrow it down a little bit. That's how I found.
Let me look at my email real quick. I'm sorry to be on my phone, but if I can find this information and just give this distribution site out to people.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to learn how to do that and get this podcast on streaming live on Spotify too. That way, maybe more people could tune in.
DistroKid. Okay, DistroKid.
DistroKid?
Yeah, that's it. It's called DistroKid, and I think it costs me $20 a year right now to stream my music.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
So does that stream it everywhere?
It streams it on over 50 different platforms. Lots of platforms you've never even heard.
Oh wow.
$20 a year. And I think, it may go up over time. And you can add, like I said, you can add different services and have, say you're in 3 or 4 bands, you might have to upgrade your account to get those royalties from other bands. So I have royalties that I get from Colton Crow and the Murder, and I have royalties that I get from my song. And, it's accounted to like $30 over 3 years. So there you go. So, it's not shit, but we don't have but 100 listeners a month. And again, we fucked up about that whole new playlist thing or anything. We just didn't try to get on a playlist. We didn't have the knowledge of it.
Right. And
so that's something you really need to consider before you release your music. Get on the new artist playlist through Spotify. Everyone has Spotify on their phone.
Yeah.
Everyone. Even the
I
Android
usually
users.
say-
Here's the thing: it's the crossover. People on Apple have it, and people on Android have it.
Yeah,
You know.
I pay my $10 a month.
Yeah.
You know, and man, Spotify turned me on to so many genres I didn't know existed that I
Oh
liked.
yeah. Oh yeah. Pandora was the first application
Yeah, I
that
guess
did
so.
that. That was like the one that kind of was like, whoa, all these new bands. You know?
Winamp. Did you ever have Winamp?
No,
back in
that might have been before
that
me.
was pre Pandora. It was a list of all different kinds of above ground and underground radio stations.
Wow.
But it was internet radio,
Yeah.
one of the first. You know, and it was great.
Think I can have one more little whiskey?
Oh yeah,
Just a
absolutely.
tiny bit.
Help yourself, man.
Yeah. What do you want to play a song here? Did you have something in mind that you wanted to play?
Shit, I probably did at one point in time.
Sorry.
I want to tune to Open D.
Yeah, that's fine. I bet you I'll be able to hang out. Cheers to him for inviting me, and seriously,
Cheers
the
to you,
musicians are my family here in Oklahoma, and I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for coming on the show, man. It's been much fun. I really enjoy your playing style. You play really similar to watch your hand to how I play. You do a lot more finger picking and stuff than I do, but you know I see a similar style and with some of the stuff we could
Yeah.
play together with, and I like that. You know, I always think to myself after jamming by myself to the music that I'm really into, say on my acoustic or something. You know, it's especially playing in an open D tuning or an open tuning. You know, it's made it pretty good for me, I guess. Yep, D major. I love the open D tuning. So I heard Little Martha play it on the guitar, and it's open D, and then I realized it's hard to find songs on YouTube that are played in open D. So I learned how to play for 5 years now. I've had this guitar just tuned and trying to teach myself how to play open D tuning.
Yeah.
I love it. That's that.
It's got a great sound, and again, that's back to that tuning where I talked to you about the 432 hertz, man.
Yeah.
Like, and if you, I think E it tuned at 432 is similar to, I think, about D. You know, it's like, but the semitones apart. Like, and again, we're talking about the frequencies. So E vibrating at 400, and and math is only there because we assign a value to something, right? So in our scale of 12 notes, we're assigning that value of E, but when we assign it to a different scale of 432, that's where I'm saying that open D can sound, it's about the same pitch as the E at 440, you know what I'm saying? So D at 430 D at 440 hertz is similar to E at 440 hertz.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So,
That
but
makes sense.
it's minute semitones apart, back again to where I was telling you about, right? But it's a different scale, and so 1 is 1 because we say it's 1, right? Again, so if we're saying this E is 440, if we tune that, if we you get what I'm saying, right?
I think if everybody's tuned with each other,
whatever frequency is the best frequency, right?
Yeah.
But say
Absolutely.
they're telling you that E tuned at 432, I think it is, or 442. It's 432 or 442. Is that it's the frequency of the universe? Like, things vibrate where it's a pleasing sound, and there's some hippy dippy concept that the 440 frequency causes distress.
I heard that about it was certain horror movies would make a weird sound to make people feel uneasy, and it was like 90 hertz or 9 hertz.
If you've ever set up a guitar, you would understand this concept, right? As the string gets longer, the string vibrates when you pluck it at a lower frequency, right?
Right.
And that basically, that length right there from the nut to the saddle is what it was basically your scale, right? So if I'm saying E at this length is 440, that's my scale. And you can actually take it to a physical measurement from this space on your nut to here. And so that's the crazy thing about, that's why a lot of people, I think, naturally tune down a whole step on their guitars. Like, they find themselves naturally doing there because I can't sing as high. Well, mainly it's because it sounds better, just because in their body it vibrates at a wholesome frequency. It's some hippie ass it's really cool. So tune your guitar a whole step down.
I was a big fan of Tool does that. They play in D. And that hits me a certain way. But Alice in Chains, they tune down a half step.
A half step, it might be E. Yeah, that's another thing. It might be D. It might be D, E flat, basically.
You got an E flat. They play a lot of that, or D major. No, it's not D major. D sharp. E flat. But
we could do an experiment right now with our chromatic tuners, and you could tune your guitar E at 430, and I could tune my guitar at E at 440.
I wonder if I have that on here. I should.
And then we could see what note it's similar to. So I'm thinking it's similar to D, but it might be closer to the E flat.
What is the 432?
So the 430, you would click your thing down till it says 440 to 432, and then tune your E to an E note and see if it's the same as my D note. I think
How to break a string 101. So yeah, let me.
Tune to E at 432, Just play that E note. Is that E note at 432?
Yeah.
Okay, let me play my D. Let's see. So it's closer to an E flat. It's closer to an E flat. See how the semitone difference that, and that's what I was getting at. There are some minute differences in there, but it's closer to the E flat. So you'll see that a lot of players drop their tuning to E flat, or a whole step down to D. But I think it's E flat is what the good tuning is.
How you doing, Albert? Jeff?
And so that's, it's supposed to just sound better, which is crazy.
Try it now. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I want to tune my. That's sharp.
This is the worst thing to do on a podcast, probably. But
It's all right.
it's kind of cool to.
It's an experiment.
It's an experiment.
Hang in there. Because I'm listening to it as I want to hear it in my head. So it's down. It's down a semitone from where I normally be. From what I'm hearing in my head.
You do this. You gotta let your guitar settle. It takes a long time, but. I think I feel more happy. Yeah, I feel less stressed. That's a sweet tone.
It's kind of a, I don't know, it sounds different, but it, yeah.
Yeah, I would have to tune too. I'm not going to do that.
That's pretty cool though, man.
It's pretty cool.
432.
Mm-hmm. 432.
I'm gonna try that out on this for a couple of weeks and see what I think about it. See if I, and maybe do my strut. I don't know.
See if you feel happier throughout the day when you
right. I'll do that because that does sound. It sounds more.
You ever hear a song on the radio and you're like, if they played that shit over and over for 10 hours, that would be torture, and you could definitely just torture somebody with that. I kind of like that Steve Martin in the Fool kind of sound.
The Jerk.
Or The Jerk,
Oh,
yeah.
that was a great movie. We watched that a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I love Steve
He's
Martin.
he can't snap or clap his hand or feet at the same time. That's funny as hell. Well,
We're about ready to.
yeah, about ready to
Wrap it
It's
up.
9 o'clock almost. So, well, thanks, man. Thanks for
Good
coming
time.
out, man.
Yeah, had a great time.
It's a great time, man. I really love your guitar playing and singing, and yeah, send us the links to that. I'll post it here on the Blue Mondaze
Yeah,
page.
The
and
Distro Kid, yeah.
We'll get you that half a penny for 1,000,000 views.
Yeah. yeah. Spotify's no way to make money. You want to make money,
Yeah.
you gotta sell merch,
Gotta sell
market
merch.
your band,
Yep, Mark.
believe in yourself,
Absolutely.
believe in yourself, and you know, when you write a song, you know, distance yourself from the idea of like who gives a shit, you know, because you know, there's someone out there that probably does, you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Words to live by right there, my friend.
Peace
Thank-
and love.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We love you. Thanks for liking and sharing our videos. Thanks for helping us keep the music alive everywhere we can, even eastern Oklahoma, because I love it here. It's so beautiful. The musicians here are great. We find great musicians all the time, man. Thanks for coming by, Austin. Thanks for having a glass of whiskey with me.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, we love you. Stay blessed. We'll talk to you next time, guys.
Yeah, I like whiskey. Don't pull out the whiskey. It's good times. Thanks.